I couldn't sleep last night. I'm not kidding. I was lying in bed staring at the ceiling and I couldn't stop thinking about you. Yeah, you. The person listening to this right now. And I realized I have to tell you something. Something urgent. Something that can't wait until tomorrow because tomorrow might be too late. If you're ready to hear the truth that nobody else will tell you, drop a comment and say, I'm listening. Let me do some math with you. Real math. The kind that changes everything. If you're 50 years old right now, you have approximately 1,500 weeks left to live. That's it, 1,500 weeks. If you're 60, you've got about 1,000 weeks. If you're 70, maybe 500 weeks if you're lucky. Now, let me break that down even more because I need you to really understand what I'm saying. Out of those weeks, you're going to sleep through about half of them gone. Another quarter of them you'll spend doing things you have to do. Doctor appointments, errands, dealing with stuff that doesn't matter but has to get done, sitting in traffic, waiting in lines. So if you're 60 years old with 1,000 weeks left, you actually have maybe 250 weeks of real conscious free time to do what you actually want to do. That's less than 5 years. 5 years to live the life you've been putting off. 5 years to become who you actually want to be. 5 years to do all the things you said you'd do someday. And I am sitting here at 3 in the morning unable to sleep because I know most of you are wasting those weeks. Not because you're bad people, not because you don't care, but because nobody's ever made you face this truth. Nobody's ever put it in numbers. Nobody's ever made you see how little time you actually have left. You want to know what scared me into recording this message right now? Yesterday I was at an event and I met a man. He was 72 years old, sharp guy, successful. He came up to me and said, Elon, I've been following you for years. You inspire me. I've always wanted to start my own thing, and then he just trailed off, just stood there. And I looked at him and I thought this man has maybe 400 weeks left on this planet, maybe less. And he's still using the word, but I wanted to grab him by the shoulders and scream, do you understand that you're dying? Do you understand that every week you wait is a week you'll never get back? But I didn't. I just smiled and nodded and said something polite, and I've been thinking about him ever since, because he's not alone. He's you. He's everyone listening to this. Let me tell you what nobody wants to admit. When you're 20, 30, even 40, you think you have time. You think someday is a real thing. You think you can always start next year, next month, after you save more money, after the kids grow up, after you retire. You have this vague sense that your life is ahead of you, but when you're 50, 60, 70, you don't have that luxury anymore. The math doesn't lie. Your life isn't ahead of you. Most of it is behind you, and the part that's left, it's shorter than you think, a lot shorter. And here's what kills me. Here's what keeps me up at night. Most people at 50 or 60 or 70 are still living like they have forever. They're still saying someday, they're still making excuses, they're still playing it safe, they're still waiting for the perfect moment, and that perfect moment, it passed 20 years ago, 30 years ago, it passed while they were being careful. I'm going to say something harsh right now, and I need you to hear it. You don't have time to be scared anymore. You don't have time to wait for permission. You don't have time to wonder if you are good enough or if it is too late or what people will think. You're out of time for that. The clock is ticking so loud right now that I can hear it from here. You know what the biggest lie is? It's too late for me. That's what people tell themselves. They look at their age and they think, well, I'm too old to start over. Too old to chase that dream. Too old to make a change. And you know what that is? That's giving up. That's deciding to just run out the clock, to just exist for whatever time you have left instead of actually living. Let me tell you something. It's not too late until you're dead. That's it. That's the only time it's too late. As long as you're breathing, as long as you can think and move and choose, it's not too late. But it is urgent. It is now or never because never is coming faster than you think. I met another person last month, a woman 68 years old. She told me she just started learning to paint, something she'd wanted to do her whole life, but never had time for. She said, I figured I'd rather spend my last years doing something I love than wishing I had. She gets it. She understands the math. She understands that time is the one thing you can't get more of. And you know what? She looked more alive than most 30-year-olds I meet. More excited, more present, more real, because she wasn't sleepwalking anymore. She wasn't waiting for someday. She was living right now today with whatever time she has left. That's what I want for you. That's why I'm recording this at 3 o'clock in the morning instead of sleeping, because I need you to wake up. I need you to stop hitting snooze on your own life. I need you to understand that you're not promised tomorrow. None of us are. You think you have 1,500 weeks. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe you have 1,000, maybe 500, maybe 50. You don't know. Nobody knows. And that uncertainty should terrify you into action, not paralyze you into waiting. Let me ask you something, and I want you to answer honestly just to yourself. If you found out today that you only had 1 year left to live, would you keep living the way you're living right now? Would you keep doing the same things, hanging out with the same people, having the same conversations, making the same excuses, or would you change everything? Would you finally have that conversation, take that trip, start that project, tell people what they mean to you, live like you actually mean it? Here's the thing. You do only have a limited time left. We all do. The only difference is you don't know exactly how limited, but does that really matter? Whether it's a year or 5 years or 20 years, it's still finite, it's still precious, it's still running out right now. This second as you listen to this, I'm 53 years old. I've lived more of my life than I have left, and you know what I think about every single day. I think don't waste it, don't waste a single day on things that don't matter, on fear, on playing small, on caring what people think, on being careful. Life is too short for careful. Life is too short for someday, and if I think that at 53, imagine how much more true it is at 60, 70, 80. Every year that passes makes the remaining time more precious, more urgent, more now. So here's my urgent message to you. Stop waiting, stop planning, stop preparing, stop thinking about it, start today, right now. Whatever that thing is that you keep putting off, that dream you keep postponing, that change you keep delaying. Do it now, not tomorrow, not next week, not when you feel ready. Now, because you're never going to feel ready, you're never going to have enough money, you're never going to have enough time, you're never going to be young enough or old enough or experienced enough or whatever enough. Those are just excuses. Those are just ways of saying, I'm too scared to try, and I get it, I understand. Fear, but let me tell you what's scarier than trying and failing. Dying with your music still inside you, getting to the end and realizing you never really lived, you just existed, you played it safe and you missed your own life. I don't want that for you. I can't accept that for you because I know you have something inside you that the world needs. I know you have dreams that are still waiting. I know you have a version of yourself that you haven't become yet. And that version is running out of time to emerge. This isn't a dress rehearsal. This isn't practice. This is it. This is your life, the only one you get, and it's happening right now, not someday, not when you're ready, not when the conditions are perfect. Right now, this moment, this day, this week, this is your life, and I'm asking you, I'm begging you, don't waste what you have left. Don't spend your remaining weeks playing it safe and being careful and waiting for perfect. Spend them living, really living, trying things, failing at things, succeeding at things, being scared and doing it anyway, being uncertain and choosing courage, being imperfect and showing up anyway. You want to know what the people who live the longest, happiest lives have in common? It's not that they were careful, it's not that they played it safe, it's that they lived, they tried, they showed up, they took risks, they failed and got back up, they didn't wait for perfect, they went for it with whatever they had, and you can do that too, you can still do that, no matter how old you are, no matter how much time you think you've wasted, no matter how scared you are. You can choose right now to live the rest of your life differently than you have lived it so far. Let me tell you what's going to happen if you don't. You're going to be lying in bed one day, maybe 1 year from now, maybe 10 years from now, and you're going to think, why didn't I do it? Why did I wait? Why did I let fear stop me? Why did I waste the time I had? And there will be no going back, no do-overs, no second chances, just regret. I don't want that for you. I want you to get to the end of your life and think, I did it. I tried, I lived, I showed up, I gave it everything I had, I didn't play it safe, I didn't waste my time, I lived. That's what's possible, that's what's available to you right now, but only if you choose it. Only if you decide that the time you have left is too precious to waste on fear and excuses and someday. So here's what I need you to do after you finish listening to this. I need you to do one thing, just one thing. The thing you've been avoiding, the thing you've been putting off, the thing that scares you, do it today. Not tomorrow, today. Call that person. Start that project, have that conversation, make that change, take that risk, book that trip, start that business, write that book, whatever it is, do it today because tomorrow is not promised. Tomorrow might not come, and even if it does, it's one day less, one day closer to the end, one day. You'll never get back. This is your wake-up call, this is your alarm going off, this is life saying, hey you, yes you, your time is running out, what are you going to do about it? Don't hit snooze, don't roll over, don't say 5 more minutes. Get up, show up, start. Now you're in my plan, but my plan only works if you're alive, really alive, not just breathing, not just existing, but living. And living starts now, not someday. Now the clock is ticking, your weeks are counting down. What are you going to do with the ones you have left? Are you going to waste them or are you going to use them? Are you going to play it safe? Or are you going to really live? That's the urgent message. That's what I couldn't sleep without telling you. Your time is running out, not in some distant future, right now. Every second that passes is a second you'll never get back. Every week is one less week. Every year is one less year. So what are you waiting for? What's holding you back? What excuse are you telling yourself right now about why you can't start today? Whatever it is, it's not good enough. It's not more important than your life. It's not more valuable than your time. It's not worth dying with regrets over. Start today, now, this moment. Your life is waiting, but it won't wait forever. Let me tell you about my father. He's in his 70s now, and for years, decades really, he talked about writing a book. He had stories, incredible stories, things he'd seen, places he'd been, lessons he'd learned. And he always said, I'll write it someday when I have time, when I retire, when things settle down. You know what? Things never settled down, time never appeared, and now his hands shake too much to type easily. His memory isn't what it was. Those stories, some of them are fading, and that book, it might never get written, and you know what the tragedy is? It's not that the world won't have his book. The tragedy is that he'll die knowing he had something to say and he never said it. Don't be my father. Do and be that person who waits until their hands shake and their memory fades and their time runs out. Don't carry your stories, your dreams, your music to the grave with you. I want to tell you something else, something most people don't understand until it's too late. The pain of regret is so much worse than the pain of failure. Failure hurts for a moment. You try something, it doesn't work, you feel bad for a while, and then you move on. But regret is forever. Regret is lying awake at night when you're 75 years old, thinking, what if? Regret is watching other people live the life you were too scared to try for. Regret is dying with your dreams still inside you. I've failed at things. A lot of things. I've had rockets explode. I've had products fail. I've had people laugh at me, doubt me, tell me I was crazy. And you know what? All of that pain was temporary. All of that hurt eventually faded. But you know what would haunt me forever? If I never tried. If I played it safe. If I let fear keep me from attempting the things that mattered to me. That's the choice you have right now. The pain of trying, which is temporary, or the pain of regret, which is permanent. And I'm telling you, as someone who's old enough to understand this deeply, choose the temporary pain. Choose the risk. Choose the attempt. Because at least then you'll know, at least then you can say you tried. Let me give you another number. Want to know how many people get to 80 years old and say, I wish I'd worked more? Almost zero. You know what they say instead. I wish I'd spent more time with people I love. I wish I'd traveled more. I wish I'd taken more risks. I wish I'd worried less about what people thought. I wish I'd done the things that scared me. I wish I'd lived more. Not a single person on their deathbed wishes they'd played it safer. Not one. They all wish they'd been braver, more adventurous, more authentic, more alive. So why are you playing it safe right now? Why are you choosing the path that you already know leads to regret? Why are you doing the thing that your 80-year-old self is going to look back on and shake their head about? I'll tell you why. Because it feels safer in the moment, because change is scary, because trying is vulnerable, because what if you fail? What if people laugh? What if it doesn't work out? But here's what I want you to understand. That fear you're feeling, that uncertainty, that's not a sign that you shouldn't do it. That's a sign that it matters. That's a sign that it's real. That's a sign that you care. The things that don't scare us are the things that don't matter. If you're not scared, you're not growing. If you're not uncertain, you're not pushing yourself. If you're comfortable, you're staying exactly where you are, and staying where you are when you're 60, 70, 80 years old, when you have 1,000 weeks or 500 weeks left. That's not safety. That's tragedy. That's choosing to waste the precious time you have left. That's deciding that fear is more important than living. I want to tell you about another person I met. His name was Richard, past tense. He died last year at 69 years old. I'd met him a few years before at an event. He told me he'd always wanted to learn to fly planes, always since he was a kid, but he never did it. Too expensive, too consuming, too risky, too impractical. Always something. And then he had a heart attack at 67, survived it thankfully, and he told me that lying in that hospital bed looking at the ceiling, all he could think about was flying, not his job, not his savings account, not whether he'd been practical enough, just I never learned to fly. So you know what he did? At 67 years old, recovering from a heart attack, he signed up for flying lessons. His family thought he was crazy, his doctor wasn't thrilled, but he did it anyway, and for 2 years he flew, he got his pilot's license, he took his grandkids up in a small plane, he felt alive in a way he hadn't felt in decades. He died at 69, heart gave out again, but you know what his daughter told me at his funeral? She said, the last 2 years of his life, he was more himself than I'd ever seen him. He was finally doing what he was meant to do. 2 years, that's all he got. But those 2 years mattered more than the previous 67 because those 2 years he was actually living. How many years do you have left? 10, 20, 30 if you're lucky. Are you going to spend them being practical, being careful, being afraid? Or are you going to spend them living? And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking about all the reasons why your situation is different, why you can't just drop everything and chase your dreams. You have responsibilities, bills to pay, people depending on you, health issues, financial constraints, real legitimate obstacles. And you're right, those things are real. I'm not saying quit your job tomorrow and move to Bali and become a surf instructor. I'm not saying be reckless. But I am saying this: your obstacles are not as big as you think they are. Your limitations are not as limiting as you've decided they are. And your excuses, while they might be valid, are still excuses. You can have responsibilities and still make time for what matters. You can be practical and still take risks. You can be careful with money and still invest in your dreams. It's not all or nothing. It's not either or. It's both and. What's 1 hour a week you could dedicate to that thing you've been putting off? What's one small step you could take today? What's one conversation you could have? What's one class you could sign up for? What's one risk you could take that wouldn't destroy your life but might just enhance it? Because here's the truth: you don't need to change everything all at once. You just need to start. You just need to take one step in the direction of actually living instead of just existing, and then tomorrow take another step and the day after that another. That's how transformation happens. Not in some dramatic movie moment where everything changes overnight, but in small consistent choices to prioritize what matters, to honor what's calling you, to respect the limited time you have left by actually using it for something that means something to you. Share this if you needed to hear it. Subscribe for more wake-up calls and comment below. What's the one thing you're starting today? Tell me, tell the world, make it real. Your time starts now.